Aquarius. Aquarius is the sign of fraternity. Friendship and camaraderie mean a lot to the Aquarian native. You may discover that this native never met a stranger, and don't be surprised if among his friends are a few offbeat characters. He may be somehow unique, different, and even perhaps eccentric. Because Aquarius is a mental sign on the fixed cross, this native may be stubborn about his ideas. He may insist upon doing things my way. On the positive side, once Aquarius makes a friend, his loyalty tends to be unwavering. Aquarians are known to be open-minded and democratic, but can become intolerant or aloof of what they perceive as lesser minds. Discourage a know-it-all attitude should it appear. Aquarius horoscope is the sign of freedom. Aquarian natives love to be with people, but also demand time and space to be alone. Stress always that true freedom entails responsibility. He needs room to think, to create, to be, but he also needs to know from babyhood the difference between freedom and rebelliousness. Historical accounts and anecdotes are helpful in teaching the consequences of the right and wrong use of free will. Aquarius rising. The Aquarius rising native tends to gravitate toward groups. Very social, he communicates best when in a group or when working toward some very worthwhile goal. Idealism is apparent to all who come to know him. An unconventional, rebellious streak may characterize him. Teach your Aquarius rising native through story, history, film, and experience the consequences of free will and the responsibility that accompanies independence. He may need to cultivate patience towards friends who may not match his own quick perception. This native needs to learn tolerance for the ideas and ways of others if he is to express the virtue of this progressive sign, fraternity. He could feel, or others could perceive him as, somehow different. Perhaps he is ahead of his time. Saturn and Uranus by house and sign position are especially significant with this placement and will reveal much concerning the native's future goals and aspirations. Moon in Aquarius. Moon in Aquarius may be a true lover of humanity. Typically he is altruistic. He can relate to people from all different backgrounds and walks of life. You may find that this native never met a stranger. This native has a natural impulse to freedom, is inventive, and enjoys finding new ways to do things. Computers, electronic devices, and gadgetry may capture his imagination. This native could seem somewhat detached, less emotional than other natives. He may identify strongly with his friends or peer groups. He may need to develop sensitivity, tolerance, and kindness. He could be futuristic, ahead of his time, and highly independent. Mercury in Aquarius. Mercury in Aquarius typically is an impartial thinker, democratic to the point of being impersonal. Fascinated by the latest technology, this native is likely to come up with very original and inventive ideas. While you may think he comes up with some pretty offbeat notions, why not test them out? The Aquarian mind is often prophetic, perceiving future trends. He could be simply ahead of his time. He tends to be idealistic and believes in putting into practice what is preached. His mind is quick, he thinks on his feet, but he may seem strangely aloof at times. He is group-conscious, community-oriented, and a natural reformer. Mercury in Aquarius usually indicates ability in math and sciences. This native could be quite stubborn, even willful, demanding space to do his own thing his own way. He does need space, it's true, but emphasize the responsibility that accompanies true freedom. Venus in Aquarius. Aquarian love is often misunderstood. At best, this Venus has a love for his fellow man and will see well in all despite race or creed or background. Like Will Rogers, he never met a stranger. He loves to exchange ideas of an abstract nature and is a thinker. Some may see him as a good friend. Others may say he is aloof, preferring not to get too personal or emotional. In truth, he is a friend's friend. This native loves to work for a great cause or purpose and for a better world for all. He has an innate sense of what's fair and democratic, and feels happiest when among friends or as a member of a community. Mars in Aquarius. Mars in Aquarius has an inner drive to be free. He seeks to free the world as well as himself and is a born reformer. Perhaps this native will have a chance to get involved with student government or community issues. He has an inborn sense of uniqueness. Sometimes the lesson to be learned is when and how to surrender the way he wants to do it for the good of the group. This native may need extra room and a room to himself to think, invent, and create. Independence may be his favorite word. Teach this native the positive and negative consequences of free will. Teach him to be free, but never a law unto himself. Friendships mean a lot to the Mars and Aquarius native. He seeks friends with whom he can share his beliefs and ideas. His friends might be an unusual lot, or he might be a leader, someone unique and different from the crowd. Even though he can be surrounded by pals, he is usually somewhat of a loner. If Mars is afflicted, trouble could come from friends at one time or another in his life. Natives with this placement tend to be highly individualistic and may resist accepting instructions from adult authorities. They want to be free to do it my way. Carried to an extreme, this attitude could manifest as rebellion and stubbornness and a tendency to buck the system. Teach this native to abide by the rules, but you might want to lend an ear to his reasons for wanting to change them.
Do you feel stuck at your job or work for a boss you detest? Are you making all the effort in your relationship and the sentiment isn't being returned or don't know what to do? The psychics on the Absolutely Psychic Network are insightful in helping you maximize your potentials with your upcoming opportunities. Make the most of your time by knowing what is and isn't worth your time and effort. Talk to our trusted and accurate psychics now. Call 1-800-498-8777 or visit absolutelypsychic.com.